Hey there, welcome to Jeep Sheep TV. This week, or month rather, we're going to be talking about engines, and specifically this engine. Let's get dirty. Alright, so removing the alternator is pretty simple. The first step you're going to want to do is to remove the belt. So the belt wraps around the alternator, comes over here, and then goes to the power steering pump, which is removed currently. And if you want to see how to remove that, watch the How to Remove Power Steering Pump video. But essentially the power steering pump is on a long screw, which you can loosen, and then once you've loosened that screw, it loosens the belt by swinging the power steering pump, and then you can remove the belt. So once you have the belt off, you're over here with your alternator. Your alternator is on by 2 bolts, one up here and one down below. Those bolts are a number 15 socket. And so for this top one, you're going to throw your number 15 on here, and you're going to take a number 15 wrench and go around the back. And on the back, there's a nut. So mine's loose. Bear with me. All right, and that looks like this. All right, so you got a long shoulder bolt and a nut on the back, and that makes up the top of your alternator. The bottom is that same number 15, and it's down, right down here. And so you'll unscrew this bolt. That should come right out. And now you're wondering why your alternator is still in place. Well, the alternator has a collar in the mount for this top bolt that when you tighten it, that collar cinches tight, and it actually grabs this top mounting location. And so it's in there, but it's loose, right? It's still holding its own, but it's still loose. So I'm just going to pull straight down. Oh, maybe not. You're hitting the mount a little bit. You're getting a little close to the fender. Give me just a moment. There you go. And you're out of there. Now, I'm going to brace myself on the mount. You will see you've got a couple wires in here. So you got a wire up here, and then this here is called a ballast, I believe. I believe they're calling this a ballast. And then you've got a nut over here. All right, so this is a metric 10. Now, be really careful with these because they have a tendency to strip off into the aluminum housing of the alternator. So if it's not going, you should be worried about that and maybe apply some kind of lubricant because you really do want to be gentle with these. Now, another thing that's really important to do is take a lot of pictures of what this looks like beforehand, so when you go to put it back together, you can. My advantage is I have a whole video. Okay. There we go. There's one. So this is a black wire with a white stripe. I'm going to have to remember that later. Now you're going to take your 10, go to this guy on the side over here. Now that's removed. These are smaller, they're a metric 9. Or 9 millimeter. Ding ding, you're almost done. That's totally what that means. Now, being that I don't have an air conditioning unit, this is so much easier because the air conditioner would go up here, or the compressor anyway, and I don't have one, so I have a little table, which is super useful. All right. Oh man, there's another bolt. Interesting. Okay. All right, you've made it this far, and it's still not coming out because there's another bolt, and it's back here. There is one more 10mm right here, and it was really hard to see before. So what I did is this cable was getting stuck on the oil pressure sending unit, and it's also behind the distributor. So I moved it over the oil pressure sending unit to give myself some slack so I can actually get in there. And now we'll take that off. Hopefully. Oh no. This might have to be done with a wrench. Oh. Yeah, that is the wrong end. Ta-da! Life gets so much easier when you use your tools correctly. Now keep in mind, alternators are expensive, so you probably shouldn't let this drop on the floor. We'll see how I do. Alright, this guy's going to come off of there. It'll take a little bit of convincing. Some shimmy. Now you're out of there. Alright, well, if you like videos like this and you want to see more, I'm taking everything off this engine, so this is a great channel to be. This is an alternator, and I'm Jeep Sheep. See you on the trails.